Wedding culture is so weird. I'll never understand why would you want to pay thousands of dollars to accommodate and feed hundreds of people that don't care that much about you to celebrate your love. Pretty much just what the title says. I understand that it's a celebration of love between two people, but sometimes it's just too much. A bridal party, where the maid of honor and the bridesmaids feel obligated to pay for their dresses, makeup and everything the bride wants, expensive unnecessary stuff, a rehearsal dinner, a venue for a lot of people you don't ever see, sometimes a destination wedding where you have to spend money you don't have for a hotel, a plane among other things. The culture is so weird too. Relationships and friendships can be deteriorated if you don't agree on everything about the wedding. I see everything just plain ridiculous.
In Thailand, everyone who attends brings money in an envelope based on how close they are with the bride and groom. The wedding pays for itself and then some.
If you think marriage costs a lot, try divorce.
Told my boyfriend that we should get married privately and just have a reception somewhere fun. I'd rather spend that money on our home or travel or something.
The standard wedding gift in my country is money. You usually give more than the menu would cost, typically at least double the menu cost, but depending on your relationship with the bride, groom, it's a lot more. You give the money in an envelope and give it to the couple, or sometimes there are even nice boxes you can put the envelopes in. So after the wedding, many couples still get quite a nice sum of money to start their married life with, and they've had a nice party with their dear ones to celebrate. Like another commenter said, the wedding pays for itself and then some.
I mean, it's just a party. Why have any party? Humans like reasons to have parties.
Some people like to throw a big party. Big party cost a lot of money. Been to some honestly amazing weddings, but I do get where you're coming from. It holds no intrinsic value.
I go to wedding, I see biryani, I eat biryani, I happy.
My sister had the most stunningly beautiful, perfect wedding I've ever attended. It was a week-long event for the bridal party. It was truly a spectacular day. You can tell by the video and photos, complete with professional drone footage. But they spent over $15,000. Frick off with all that. I've had spectacular days drinking beer from a can, eating burgers off the grill, and dancing on the patio in a wet swimsuit. I'm all about a celebration. For those who make the right choice and get married for the right reasons, it deserves a big party. That said, I do think many weddings are indulgent and overdone for all the wrong reasons. Starting your marriage in wedding debt is setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah, a big party with your friends is a real drag.
Everything is weird and pointless if you're trying to be rational about it. Why spend tens of thousands of dollars just to drive an old car? Why pay thousands of dollars for a collectible card for children? What's the point of taking a vacation if you'll just need to go back to work? Why waste good money shooting exploding lights into the sky every July 4th? Why waste time, money and frustrate yourself playing a video game? Why even do anything if you're eventually going to die? A wedding isn't any more weird than any of these things.
Hundreds of people that don't care that much about you. Can't relate. My friends love me and I love them. Looking forward to the day I get to throw the biggest party of my life with all of them. But then again, I'm not a socially maladjusted weirdo.
Eloped at the courthouse, saved a crap ton of money, and bought a house. I have a cousin that got married around the same time I did. They are currently living in their parents' basement with their 2 kids, still working to pay off their wedding.
Some people genuinely have big families and actually have close relationships with their cousins, aunts, grandparents, etc. I know that's hard for Redditors to grasp since most of them are antisocial, nihilistic, introverted misanthropes, but some people are plenty happy to spend a lot of money if it means forming good memories with people whom they love.
How come this is not considered as a repost? I see it every 24 hours.
It makes sense if you're doing well financially and can afford it and you have people in your life that want to be a part of it.
Introvert here. I've always dreaded the idea of a wedding. Just the thought of people staring at me and talking about me makes my heart race.
100% agreed. We went down to the courthouse, paid the fee, and that was that. 8 years strong. The money saved went to our house. Hoo boy, did my mom give me an earful for several years. Inner circle knew we're not the wedding type, but I get the occasional weird, judgy looks from casual acquaintances.
I just got married this past Friday. Totally agree, but I'm not gonna lie, it was the best night of my life. Had so much fun with everyone, it was a blast.
So you don't understand parties?
Imagine being such a miserable human being that you call someone's best day in their life a waste of time.
Relax. Sure, some of your points are valid, but you are missing the forest for the trees. In addition to celebrating your union, it's a celebration for all your family and friends to come together and connect.
I always thought the whole thing was over the top, especially when people incur huge debts for their weddings. Then I moved to Germany, and notice that huge weddings with huge bridal parties are not a thing here at all. There is the bride and groom, there are 2 witnesses, and everyone else wears what they want. There is the ceremony at the city hall, and for religious people, another one at a church. Nice flowers, a wedding ceremony, then dinner at a restaurant. Some people don't even do that. One couple I know got married in a barn. Lol, catering halls don't really exist here, either. Living in another country made me realize how absurd American traditions are. It's all about impressing people you don't know by spending money you don't have, so you can brag on Instagram.
At least for the traditional out there, the wedding is usually paid for by the parents, not the people having the wedding, and they often can have big retirement funds and want to celebrate their kids.
Do you understand birthday parties?
I am a very reserved woman. When I got married, my parents invited all of our family and their close friends. They also paid for most of the wedding expenses. It made me so nervous knowing how many people would be there. The ceremony was very intimidating, but the reception was not. At the reception, I had so many relatives and family friends embrace me and shower their love on me and my spouse in the most emotional way. I'd never seen most of them that open, and it rarely happened again. I would never trade that experience for anything. I didn't know how much they all truly cared about my happiness. If you have the chance to do this, go for it. I've been able to pay this forward. It may feel weird if you aren't super close, but it is good for the current generation in your family to know that you want the best for them.
It's like those gender reveal parties. Something that used to be a simply phone call or conversation is now a full-blown event with cake and decorations. Why? I feel like society has made weddings into this huge, expensive ordeal and social media has only made it worse. Why can't we normalize low-key weddings? Why do we even need a bridal party?
My husband and I had a smaller wedding. Most of our guests were family that we were obligated to invite and some close friends. Another thing about weddings that I don't understand is why have 15 bridesmaids, groomsmen. I'm over here like, I don't even like that many people. I had my maid of honor and one other bridesmaid.
Not this opinion again. Is it a monthly question? My wedding cost $3,000, we got $3,000. It was a rock and metal party and everybody put up tents at the wedding venue, so a lot of people slept right there. Me and hubby too.
Not sure Op knows what a culture is.
I would disagree. While obviously some weddings are overindulgent, I really want to be with everybody in my life for my wedding. I want it to look pretty and to be all dealt with minimal effort from me. I'm willing to pay for it to be perfect.
That is not what it is about. Your wedding day is the one day where the bride, groom get to be the star of the show. Everything is about them. It's like birthday x 100. It's your one shot at being a big deal, among the non-big deals.
For what it's worth, you have a pretty negative outlook on it. It's fine to have your opinion, but that experience isn't everyone's. Where I live, people have expensive weddings. We also have a large group of friends and it's hard getting everyone together all the time. While this was some years back, there were a lot of great, expensive, happy, fun weddings and we love the people that got married. It's a celebration. I have no interest in a huge wedding, but I've had a blast at the ones I've attended.
My now ex and I used to talk about this all the time. It's just such a huge waste of money. I feel the same way about engagement, wedding rings. People care too much about the imagery of marriage.
Sometimes it's too much, otherwise, it's not. It's a huge commitment. These are supposed to be people that have and will continue to support your marriage. And you'll support them and theirs. It's kind of a quid pro quo thing.
Well, some of us have loved ones to celebrate with.
I think my ex would disagree with you. Pretty sure that's why she broke up with me, because I felt the same as you. It is completely and utterly stupid and irresponsible. What else in life will you drop that kind of money in a single day that only lasts for that day or couple hours? My thought process is elope and when we come back just have a chill, congrats, potluck.
For a lot of people, especially the ones that throw those extravagant weddings, it's more about the wedding couple, family flexing their wealth and status.
My wife and I didn't spend too much on our wedding because we'd rather be able to afford a sofa and an apartment. Also, financial problems are one of the biggest causes of divorce. Don't start out your marriage in massive debt over one day that hardly anyone will remember in 5 years.
My wife insisted on potluck wedding. Instead of gifts, we asked guests to bring a dish. The food was amazing. We didn't need the gifts. The guest list was huge and we didn't spend a fortune.
It's kinda like what Forrest Gump says, there's only so much fortune a man really needs. The rest is just for showing off. So basically it's just bragging. It's not really for the couple, mainly the couple's respective families. It's like the old days when marriage was mainly a political arrangement just to show off the wealth. It's stupid, but some people have more money than sense. Some people have no money and no sense and still spend thousands on weddings, and it's just one of those things.
The reception is all about ROI. If you're dropping 5 figures on a party, you need to invite all your parents' wealthy friends to recoup some of that.
Agreed. If I can't find someone willing to marry me at the courthouse in jeans, I'm not getting married.
Just because nobody likes you doesn't mean that other people don't have a wide social circle of people who care very much about them.
The way I see it, why go into a new marriage in debt because you want a wedding that costs thousands? My cousin spent $6,000 on her dress alone, ended up divorced. My BFF spent $350 on the entire wedding, still married almost 20 years later. The huge wedding shebang isn't worth it at all.
We got married downtown at the county courthouse, after a conversation a few months prior that logistically it made sense financially and paperwork-wise. Went out to dinner afterwards. Spent a couple bucks on those silicone rings. Going on 8 years married in November. 14 years total together. The wedding industry is a freaking racket, and most of the time a wedding is more of a headache than it's worth. Don't even get me started on the $5,000 dress you wear once.
It an extroverted thing. I know when I have a wedding it'll be really simple. Big weddings freak me out.
I understand that it's a celebration of love between two people. I'm a wedding photographer. I've worked literally thousands of weddings in the last decade. Take it from me, weddings have very little to do with celebrating love. Fact is, weddings are about one thing and one thing only. Making the bride feel like a pampered princess for the day. Truly nothing else matters. A handful out of the thousands of grooms I've seen felt like they mattered on that day. Like I can count on a single hand the amount that felt included and crucial to the plot. Most feel like they are along for the ride, there to make sure she feels like pampered royalty. The brides, however, relish every second of being watched and waited on by all. I can count on a single hand the amount that didn't really care for the pomp and circumstance and just wanted to be married. I'm basically hired to be paparazzi for the day, making sure she feels like a celebrity, as quite a few have admitted they rarely even look at the wedding albums after the fact. I'm not saying this to be negative, just being honest. I find nothing wrong with it actually. Women have been raised to expect this single day of celebrity, to anticipate the one day they'll be treated like royalty. To them, it is a celebration of love, it's the day they've waited for since they can remember, but ultimately it's a day that is about fantasy fulfillment and little else.
This, 100%. I would much rather have a smaller gathering with people I actually want there, where we can do something fun and not break the bank but still celebrate the occasion and make some memories.
It's all a racket.
If you don't like it, then don't do it. Some people love the tradition. It's a great reason for a big get-together.
We had a big wedding. I was worried I would feel like it was a waste of money. But it was the best day of my life. Everyone I knew and loved was there. Never going to get everyone I love into the same room again, except my funeral. Worth every penny.
I feel the same way.
We got married in 1996, downtown by a justice of the peace. I could not ever imagine spending the kind of money that my friends and relatives did just for one day. It just seems stupid and waste of money. Still married.
Yeah, if you're insane about anything, it's odd.
They do it with the hope that the more people they invite, the more money and gifts they'll receive.
I would rather just get married privately and Regent have a rager at our house with just a few cases of beer and liquor bottles and yard games. Same amount of fun, cheaper, and nobody has to wear a monkey suit.
If I ever marry someone, I'd like a fairy tale wedding with about 3 people invited. Don't like social gatherings, but I do like glitter and magical vibes. Hope I'll be marrying a recluse so they don't want to invite many people.
As a renowned sociologist from my country whose name escapes me right now once said, weddings are a fine example of how the poor desperately try to emulate the rich in the most vulgar ways, and in doing so they end up being both culturally and economically poorer than before.
In America, I has a friend do an economical wedding and make 3x more. Another friend's family threw a lavish affair and cost $90 a person. And they made about $50, but the couple kept the gifts and the bride's parents paid the bill. Like $9K to host and the couple got $5K. Which paid for the honeymoon.
I agree and disagree with Up. I loved my wedding. Completely worth it. That being said, I only had 84 people there and it was paid for in cash. It wasn't extravagant, but it wasn't crap either. I can always make more money. I don't plan on ever getting married again. That day will be an experience I remember forever. That being said, I know you were referring to extravagant weddings that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars or put people into debt. Yeah, I'd agree with you there. Ridiculous and unnecessary.
It's a show-off and a chance to play queen mostly. Very few really care about the guests sharing in their happiness.
Hey look, it is the same thread posted multiple times a week. Thank you for this very unpopular opinion and contribution to the community.
Apparently, I've heard this, though I've never researched it myself. The cost of the wedding is positively correlated to the likelihood of getting divorced. If I ever do get married, I'm not sure I even want a wedding of any kind at all. It's such a waste. Let's just sign the damn papers and be done with it. I hate ceremonies.
Because back in the day people did care about you. And I think they still do now. But everybody needed an excuse to party and gather. And unless it was the worst of times, you could always gather for a wedding. It's usually a bright spot in an otherwise bleak life.
It's certainly not for me, but imagine its potential as a fun ritual for those who are into such things. It can be such a joyous event for some people that it's a highlight of their entire life. That being said, you'd literally have to pay me to have an extravagant wedding.
Why are you so obsessed with other people's money? If you can't afford it, just don't do it and stop being salty. Someone to spend at a big ceremony. Others will spend on a Pokemon card collection and it's really none of your business.
I agree completely, Op. I've always felt this way. And to add to this, I also feel the same about quinceañeras. They're stupid and a waste of money that could be better spent on savings for them or a college fund. My sister, whom I love dearly, once said that if she had to choose between finally buying a house and giving my niece a quinceañera, she would choose a quinceañera. It seriously boggles my mind.
Reception at our church gymnasium, free. Parents bought donuts and hot cocoa and some simple decorations. Paid him $200 for their time and efforts.